When it comes to playing Call of Duty, do you feel like your aim falters and you just fail at this game for whatever reason? Sometimes the most minimal of changes to your settings will help achieve the greatest results. My name is Hero, and I'm one of the most consistent players when it comes to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. I have around a 7.3 KD with multiple nukes under my belt, and including a nuke with every single gun in this game, including the new guns that just came out today or yesterday, whatever you want to call it. So for today's video, I want to show you guys my updated and best settings for Season 1 Reloaded that will help improve your gameplay, improve your aim, and help you overall become a better player so you can have fun and destroy on Modern Warfare 3, or whatever the case is. So what's up guys, it's Hero here by Nino Quality, and welcome to my best controller settings, graphic settings, audio settings, as of the Season 1 Reloaded update. Viewers always ask, and you guys always question me on my Twitch, on my YouTube comments, what are your latest settings? And my videos, I always gotta do a video every single seasonal update, so people are always aware of how I'm playing the game. Not a lot of stuff changes, to be honest, but it's always nice to see if there's any little surprises that I've changed, and it can help you in the long run of this game. The point of this video is just to help you guys, make the best of your settings, because settings, impact the way you play the game. It formulates your play style, and it's all super important. So if you guys are excited to see everything within this video and become a better player here in Modern Warfare 3 with some of the feedback that I give, make sure you guys drop a like in the video, subscribe, and turn on those post notifications. On this channel, I upload nuke gameplay videos. I even uploaded a rank play class setters video in my last video if you guys wanted to check out some rank play. So I might upload rank play as well, and a whole bunch of other cool things. So go ahead and stay tuned. And in the comments, really quick, comment down your KD as of, right now. Maybe within these next 3 weeks between now and Season 2, your KD will improve, and it'd be nice to see what your KD was. But, I'm not going to judge here if your KD is low or whatever the case is. We all got to start somewhere, is just what I'm trying to say. But it's nice to see that improvement and come back to the video and be like, oh, snap, I was, at this point, and now I'm at this other point, which is always really cool. Progression's always cool. But yeah, that's enough of my blabbering. Let's go ahead and go through these best settings right now. Start things off, I play on controllers, so there will be no KBM sort of inputs here. You gotta watch somebody else, like my man Strafe or something like that. And when it comes to the button layout here, I play on bumper jumper tactical flipped. You can play on, bumper jumper flipped or any of these other ones, or even stick and move, but I prefer bumper jumper because it allows me to jump with L2, aim in with L1, shoot with R1, use the lethal with R2, and then also use the tactical for my X, and then drop shot with my R3, which is very useful. If you're wondering how to flip it, all you gotta do is go over here to where it says flip L1, L2, and R1, R2, and it'll show you the flipped mechanics. But this helps you a ton in terms of like jump shotting, drop shotting, being more effective with your movement, because Modern Warfare 3, like I said before, is very important, to help your movement, because you have higher health in this game, you can outplay your opponents, and it's going to help you in general. I use this on Warzone as well, so it's going to help you a lot in that sense as well. I've been playing this way since 2015, back in the jetpack days of Black Ops 3, and it's helped me as a player ever since. So I recommend this. It is a little bit of a learning curve, but once you master it, you're gonna feel like a better player. At least I believe so anyways. Moving onwards, bumper ping off. Like I said, I flipped my button layout before. Stick layout preset default, controller vibration off. It's just the way I like it. You can put it on if you want. Dead zone inputs. Obviously, I've talked about this before in previous settings videos. If you want to check if you have any stick drift, just make sure that your sticks are at 0. You don't want to see any sort of negative numbers or anything like that. Like if I change this all the way to 0, and I change this to 0, then you're gonna see that there is some inconsistency and I have some stick drift. So to get rid of that, I just raise it up to 5. And when I go ahead and check it again, then I have nothing moving, which is really nice. And then when it comes to your left triggers and right triggers, I just have it at 5 because I don't want to be too sensitive on my triggers, but you can put it all the way to 0 and be super sensitive with the way you shoot and you aim. Moving on to the aiming section of controllers, we got horizontal stick sensitivity at 8 and 8. You could obviously go all the way to 1 if you want to have better aim, but you won't be having the ability to turn on people as fast, or you can go to 20 and be extremely great at turning on people, but you might not have the best of aim. But hey, if you can control your aim very well at 20, go for it. At the end of the day, this is all a personal preference. I like 8 and 8 because it's right in the middle, not too fast and not too slow, so I can still turn on people very effectively and have very good aim at the end of the day. When it comes to sensitivity multiplier, I've got it all at 1. Vertical aim axis is going to be standard here. Tactical stance sensitivity multiplier doesn't really matter, I just have it at 1. Aim response curve type, I play on dynamic because it gives you the most stickiest aim assist. You could obviously put on linear or standard, but statistically most pros and most good players do play on dynamic, but it's all a personal preference at the end of the day. If you feel like you have better aim with something else, then stick to that. Aim response slope scale, just leave it at 1. You don't really want to mess with that. 80 cents multiplier focus 1. Transition timing instant. Custom sensitivity per zoom is very important because this allows your sensitivity multiplier to be changed based on the zoom of the optic that you have. You know, and this is what pretty much disables this, so you don't really need to worry about that. But I play on 0.9 and 0.9 when it comes to low zoom and 2x, 3x zoom optics, but then I turn it up for the higher zoom optics because then they feel a little bit too slow, so I wanted them to feel a little bit faster, so I can obviously track my opponents at farther ranges, because you would usually use this on far range targets. When it comes to the low zoom optics, they're a little bit closer, so you can aim a little bit slowly, in my opinion. When it comes to aim assist, or, you know, target acquisition is slower, which is not really that slow at all. The target aim assist is going to be on. Aim assist type is default, but you could obviously use black ops if you want. I don't recommend precision or focusing. They make you lose aim assist in certain situations, so just use default or black ops. Third person ADS correction type assist, and we don't use gyro behavior here. But if you use gyro aim, then go for it. It's just not my type of thing. And then going over to gameplay, this is some important stuff here. We got automatic sprint off. I don't like automatic sprint. It breaks my controller with the L3. And you're not in full control of your movement. If you're always sprinting, then you're going to be, you know, getting bodied by campers and all that. It's a lot easier to just, you know, kind of hold things on your own. Sprint/tactical sprint behavior, have it on toggle. Auto move forward off for the same reasons that I don't have automatic sprint on. Don't want to deal with campers, and I want to be able to, you know, fight off campers better that way. Tactical sprint behavior, double tap, grounded mantle on, automatic airborne mantle off, ground mantle hang off, slide/dive behavior. On multiplayer, I tend to have slide only because I don't really find myself in a situation where I have to dive. But when I play Warzone, then I switch to tap the slide, because when I play Vondel, sometimes I do want to dolphin dive off of the buildings and be able to parachute somewhere with a little bit more momentum and distance. But besides that, on multiplayer, you just need to have slide only, in my opinion. Plunging underwater trigger, parachute automatic behavior off, sprint door bash on, ledge climb behavior mantle only, ADS hold, chain zoom activation, just default, focus behavior hold, equipment behavior hold, weapon mounts on default. This is pretty much all on default here, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to change tack stance, you could, or you can even take it off completely. Interact/reload behavior. On multiplayer, make sure it's on tap to reload, but when you play Warzone, for any of my Warzone viewers, make sure you have prioritize interact on, because this allows you to loot immediately. It's just to press the button instead of holding square to loot, which is always super annoying and open doors and stuff. Just make sure it's on prioritize interact. But for multiplayer, we got it on tap to reload, which is what I play a little bit more of. But when I play the Warzone, I always switch it. Armored plate behavior, apply all for any of my Warzone players. ADS stick swap off, backpack control can be either one, whatever you prefer there. And then I believe everything else here is different. Oh, I've never seen this. Huh. They allow you to shoot akimbo guns, whether independent or paired. I've never seen this setting before. I guess this is new. I would say individual or independent is still better, because when you're akimboing, sometimes you do want to conserve ammo. But hey, if you want to do it paired, you could just press the one trigger and then just have both guns shoot at the exact same time. So, I don't know. This is something definitely to experiment with. I think independent is still going to be better, just because sometimes you just want to shoot one gun in a certain situation and shoot the other. But that's a pretty cool feature. I didn't realize that before. Vehicle camera recenter, short delay, camera initial position free look. All of this is default, I believe. And that should be it. But yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and head to our PC graphics settings. And then we'll get to our console graphics settings after that. So here we are with our PC graphics settings, where I have my display mode on full screen borderless. Usually if you're on PC, you want to do full screen exclusive, but because I am a content creator and I do everything from the same PC, I just leave it as full screen borderless. I have a 3080 Ti GPU, I have this CPU and this amount of RAM, 64 gigabytes of RAM. You know, a little, picture of my specs in case you guys are curious. I have a 144 hertz monitor at 1440p, so I take advantage of all that. But I could also play at 1080p if I wanted to for more frames. But I like the visual fidelity a little bit more of the game. I don't really, as long as I have 100 frames plus, I'm playing pretty well. And then everything here, NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, you want to make sure this is on. Most PCs will work better on. Some might work better on off plus boost or off. You can obviously experiment, but for the most part, just having it on will help you the most. in terms of like getting the most frames and the best out of your PC. Eco mode preset, you can have it on efficiency or low consumption, whatever you want here. VSync gameplay I put on off. VSync menus 100%. Custom frame limit, if you want to copy that there, you could. Doesn't really affect you, I feel like. And then everything else here doesn't matter. When it comes to quality now, this is where things really get important. When it comes to render resolution, if you're playing on 1080p, you definitely want to have this at 100 as much as possible. Just because you're only at 1080p, so the game needs to look as clean as possible. But when I play on 1440p, I can lower it a little bit, you know, to be a little bit of a hybrid between the 1080 and the 1440p, because I think 1440p already looks great enough, but I do want a little bit more frames, so I have it on 90 instead of 100. If you ever want to boost your frames, you could obviously put this down to like 90, 85 even, maybe even 80, but don't go down lower than that, especially if you're on 1080p, because you still want to be able to look at your opponents and body them that way, you know, be able to make out, you know, what's clutter and what's an actual human being. Dynamic resolution off, upscaling sharpening, fidelity FX cast, and we have that on 90, or you can put it up to 100. Path tracing plus ray reconstruction, we have that on off. VRAM scale target, we have it on 80, or you can put it on 90 if you feel like it could help your game a little bit more. Variable ray shading, make sure you have this off. I don't have the 4000 series or the 40 series, so I don't have DLSS frame generation, sadly. So I can't tell you whether to put it on or off. Texture resolution is low. Texture filter anisotropic is normal. I want to make sure these are a little bit lower, or at least high enough so I can see the textures a little bit better, because I want the game to look nice. And I also want the frame, so I don't have it all the way high for that reason. Depth of field is going to be off because it makes the background very blurry if you have it on, so just better to have it off. Detail quality level low, particle resolution normal, bullet impacts on, persistent effects on, shader quality low so we can save our frames. On the max texture streaming off, local texture streaming quality low, shadow quality very low, you don't really care about shadows here. Screen space shadows off, ambient occlusion off, SSR off, static reflection quality low, tessellation off, volumetric quality low, pretty much everything's low or off, and water quality is wave wetness, just so you can like obviously save frames. And now going over to view and field of view here, we're going to all the way to 120. And the reason why we do 120 is because we want to be able to see as much of the environment as possible, at least I do, and this allows me to kind of see things out a little bit better. I would say most people usually stick between 100 and 110, but I always like going all the way personally. When it comes to ADS field of view, I like independent because this allows me to pretty much see opponents at farther ranges a lot more bigger. When you play on affected field of view, pretty much everything stays at 120 FOV, but when you go to independent, when you ADS, it's at 80 FOV, making everything seem a lot bigger so you can easily track somebody at farther ranges. Most people will like affected, a lot of YouTubers will tell you to play on affected, but I play on independent, and it's really helped my game a lot when it comes to Warzone, when it comes to multiplayer, just in general, because I'm ready for any sort of situation, because people in my face are always going to be in my face, but people at far range, they might be harder to pick out and aim at, so I always like independent for that reason. So, up to you what you like. I like independent. Weapon field of view wide, so it makes my weapon as small as possible, and I can see more of the screen. Third person field of view 90, so that, you know, opt for the same reason of FOV. Vehicle field of view wide, so the car is as small as possible when you're riding it. World motion blur, weapon motion blur should both be off, because if you're blurry, then how the heck are you going to see somebody going across the corner? You know, they're going to just appear as a blur, and it'll be impossible to pick them out. Film grain 0 for the similar reasons. First person and third person camera movement, you got to have them at leaves 50%, because you have it on 100. Then it's just, you're gonna get a way more recoil, and the game is going to screw you over in a sense, so don't have it at 100. Third person ADS transition is optional. All this is optional here. And then inverted flashbang, you can have it off or on, depending on what kind of flash you want to deal with. But yeah, now that we got our PC settings, let's go ahead and head over to our graphics settings on console. Okay, now here we are on my console, on my PS5 in specific, for the graphics settings, the console graphics settings that you can apply on your PS4 or the Xbox consoles. On the max texture streaming off, world motion blur, weapon motion blur should both be off. You don't want any blur at all. Film grain 0. Depth of field off, just because you don't want your background being blurry either. Fidelity FX cast on, so the game looks a little bit more cleaner, and then you can put it all the way up to 100. Sustainability, eco mode preset off. 120 Hz refresh rate, if you're on PS5 or you're on your Xbox Series X or S console, then you're able to, you know, apply this, and definitely do so. You know, it's the reason the next gen consoles, the current gen consoles, are a lot better than the previous gen consoles, and it's because of this. It gives you a really nice edge in the game. Field of view, I like playing on max FOV with an independent ADS field of view, which I've already explained in the PC section if you guys want to know why I run independent over affected. Weapon field of view wide, so my weapon's as small as possible and I can see the screen a little bit better. Third person field of view 90, so I can see as much of the screen as possible. Vehicle field of view wide. First person camera movement at least 50%, and third person camera movement also 50%, because if you have it all the way to 100 or 75, you can experience a lot more shakiness, and that's going to give you a little bit more recoil, which isn't fun to deal with. Inverted flashbang, you can turn that off or on depending on what you want to deal with. Third person ADS transition, and this, I think this is all personal preference at this point, but there you go, my console graphics settings. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop on back to my PC and show you guys my best audio settings that you could also use, obviously, on console. And now that we're back on our PC here, let's go over to our audio settings, which can apply to both PC or console. When it comes to our audio mix, I do have PC speaker though. And PC speaker is nice just because I switched to it one day and it's helped a lot with my my sound whoring personally. But if you're on console, I recommend headphones, bass boost, or home theater. There's not really a lot of difference between them apparently. So just choose whatever seems better to you. But those are the three that I recommend. And then you guys can all see this, master game volume about 100. When it comes to the rest of these here though, gameplay music volume, I always have this as low as possible because you don't really want to hear music when you're playing. You want to hear the footsteps and the callouts and all of that. So I just like keep it as low as possible, but I still hear some music, I guess. Dialogue volume, I have this between 30 and 50. Right now I have it at 34, just because I want to be able to hear the callouts of, you know, a kill streak coming in or anything else that's very important, like my characters might say. Effects volume should be all the way at 100. It's the most important volume that you gotta, you know, listen to in the game. So make sure it's at 100 so you can hear footsteps, glass breaking, reloads, maybe armor plating. You can hear a lot in this game, so you always want to be able to have it as audibly as possible. Moving onwards, we got cinematic music volume at 10. Doesn't really matter what you have it on. It's the freaking like cinematics and like cutscenes and stuff. War tracks volume, once again, personal preference. Voice chat volume, you know, I have it on 60. Some people have messed up mics, so there's no way I'm having it at 100. But it's nice to hear people, especially when they rage at me. It's beautiful. Going to voice chat, I think this is all like default stuff. Nothing you really got to change unless you want to change it and not hear anybody. Anything here? Oh, subtitles. I would personally have subtitles on in multiplayer if I wasn't a content creator, because subtitles, you can read call outs and everything faster than you can hear them. So that's why I would like to have it on if I wasn't a content creator, because I am. You know, you guys see everything on the videos, and it just all the letters and stuff looks kind of messy in my opinion. But if you don't do any sort of content, or you just want to play the game and be performing to the best of your ability, I would say subtitles are W to have, just personally. And then moving onwards, all this is personal preference. I have reduced tinnitus sound on just to kind of like just not be as annoyed by the flashbangs basically, but I think it's more of like a personal preference thing. And then everything here is optional. So let's go ahead and end things off with our interface settings. And we already talked about subtitles earlier. Color customization, you can obviously do whatever colors you want here, whatever could help you in terms of like whatever you can identify as a color. Mini-map shape, square, you definitely don't want to have round. It lowers the surface area, and you want to see as much of the surface area on the map as possible. Mini-map rotation on, horizontal compass on, just in case you're countered, and then you can see actual gunfight happening on the compass, so that could help you a lot actually. Crosshair is static. You know, you could obviously have it on or off, but static is very nice because it allows the aim to be a lot more steady, and it reduces your motion sickness a lot, which is actually really nice. And then when it comes to the crosshair dot, I have it on, but I also have the center dot on, and I have it at largest, just to give me a little bit of a better overview when I'm trying to like aim at somebody, especially when hip firing. Hit marker visuals on, this is on as well. I think this is all like default stuff. Telemetry, I usually have the first three on. FPS counter, server latency, and packet loss. FPS to see my frames, and then server latency and packet loss to see if I'm lagging in a specific game, if I need to leave the game or like do something in my internet. And then I believe everything here is just kind of personal preference. But yeah, there you guys go. That is my best settings of the Season 1 Reloaded update. Once again, settings are just a personal preference. If you play with some of these settings and change some of the others to fit your preferences, that's what matters. Just play to the best of your ability, have fun. But these settings have worked out for me for the last like 4 or 5 years since, you know, the Warzone Call of Duties have been out. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you. Thank you guys for your love and support. Check out my rank play classes video that I uploaded earlier. And let me know what you're looking forward to when it comes to Season 1 Reloaded. I'm definitely going to be playing some rank play. Don't know if I'll upload it, but make sure you guys are supporting these videos, and I'm definitely going to be more open to uploading it. But yeah, keep being beautiful and rock on.